So this panel today is looking at innovation in the blockchain space at Howard University and HBCUs across the United States. And as you all know, the black communities, not just in Africa, around the world, are sort of lagging behind in adoption of blockchain technology. So we are all trying to figure out how to increase adoption, increase innovation, increase research and experimentation across these communities globally. And I'm very privileged to be with this distinguished panel. So I'd like both of you to introduce yourselves and introduce how you got into the blockchain space and what you're doing with blockchain at Howard.
Indeed. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Indeed. How's everybody doing today? Good. Good to see y'all. Everybody's beautiful. Thanks, John, and thanks to Sinclair and everybody who's setting this up. It's a pleasure to be here, truly in our backyard, like literally. But again, my name is Alston Clark, and I'm a recent graduate of Howard University in the computer science department. So, like, it's always great to be back home, and always great to see familiar faces. One of my professors is here, and I'm here with one of my homies, Johan. How's it going, man?
It's going great, it's going great. So my name is Johan Green. I am a senior civil engineering major and self-taught product developer. And how I got started with blockchain originally was in 2014 in Trinidad and Tobago when I was about to graduate from what we call Form 6, which is similar to high school. And so I was excited because I knew I was coming to the US, and I pretty much started doing a lot of research because I knew that all the action was happening in the US related to blockchain, at least closest to my surroundings. So, you know, I began studying, doing research, trying to understand the space, what's going on, and that's pretty much how I got in.
Right on. And my story is, so my sister, I have an older sister, and you know, as the younger brother that I am, I pretty much just copied her doing everything, and even in choosing a major. So she was a computer science major, so when it was time for me to choose my major, I was like, well, I'll just keep doing what my sister's doing. And the summer before I entered college as a freshman, my sister interned at Google in California. And I went out there for 2 weeks just to go, you know, visit with her. I had seen all this stuff on YouTube and whatnot. I was like, let me go check it out myself. And while I was there, my sister, this is in the summer of 2014, so we kind of got into it around the same time. My sister, she was telling me about this stuff called Bitcoin, and she was telling me to go to these different meetups and whatnot in California. And so I went to some of them, and I was like definitely the only black person in the room, and people were on the stage talking about regulation, and it was kind of way over my head. But I was just there, I saw a Bitcoin ATM, and that was what kind of like, just put it in my head as something that was kind of on my radar. And then a year after that, I got into this program at MIT. It was a week-long summit to get students into blockchain. And I actually see somebody from my cohort who is here. Her name is America. There she is, right there. And we did that program together, and that was even a further deep dive into blockchain for me. And that's kind of what got the ball rolling in my case.
All right. So what work are you guys doing to sort of leverage on your backgrounds and the knowledge that you've gained at Howard to really assert, you know, the seriousness of adopting this technology early?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So I guess one of the first things that I learned at Howard in Intro to Engineering is that, and in African American history, during my first semester, they told us that whatever you learn here, whatever your major is, whether it's math or economics or engineering, the purpose of that major is not just to go and be the best in it, but it's to be the best in it for your community. And that's something that stuck in my head. So when it comes to your question and the seriousness of kind of getting into this field early and using it for your community, in a collegiate sense, I look at it like there's a lot of people there's a lot of students who are interested in it, but that's great, and everybody can kind of go in their own silo and go as fast as they can. But I mean, there's the proverb everybody knows that if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go further, go together. And that's kind of the methodology that we've adopted in terms of bringing people together, bringing different ideas, points of view, all centered around blockchain and all centered around furthering the community. And that's why in the fall of last year, we started the Howard University Blockchain Lab, me, Johan, and our other colleague, Johannes. That's my stab at it.
Yeah. In my perspective, I view blockchain as more than just an industry, more than just a technology. I view it as, in a sense, the leverage that people need in order to actually, free themselves from the legacies or the legacy, what would I say, colonizers. So in my view, I like to build products that free people, that give them, access to hard assets. So on that note, everything that I do is interested in building something that's real. So over the years, I've been trying to pull people together, in a sense, towards a common purpose, because I am purpose driven, I believe. So what that has what that has materialized into has been just constant network building, in the sense that all my friends, we try to build around some common goal, which might or might not revolve around something like blockchain, a technology like blockchain. But in general, it is a technology that can empower you. So right now, I'm looking at cloud computing, I'm looking at edge computing, and I'm also looking at social networks. So I'm doing a lot of research on international students, the experiences they go through, and the challenges that they experience, because I am international, and I believe that we would connect the most. And so building networks of developers, building networks of finance majors, building networks of entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, and connecting them with the established networks that are in the US. And what I believe is that, in building a product around a social network, you can expand to, in a sense, a money. It can involve money. It can involve trade, because as people said yesterday, all we want to do is trade together. We want to build things. We want to share experiences. And so, I'm gonna integrate that into my purpose, in a sense, here, and try to expand that as much as possible through blockchain technology.
Right. You mentioned something very interesting, hard assets.
Mm-hmm.
So, from your background, you said you're from Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
So, why is that concept of hard assets so important to what you do?
So, in Trinidad, not many people take loans out. So, in a sense, we try to build, with what we have, and with what we can use on our own. So, with little reliance on financial systems. I'm talking about on the ground level, because a lot of people do borrow. That empowers a lot of people. For instance, like my father, to push forward, knowing that he has no ties to either a bank or a lender. So in that sense, real estate is important. Precious metals is important, but more so real estate and construction, and that's what I'm kind of centered around as a civil engineer. And so, hard assets, I believe, are what people can use to empower themselves, and so that's what I'm focused on.
All right. So, strategically, when you look at this panel, I feel it's like the most important panel. I was having a conversation with Daniel Kimoto, who's here from Kenya, and we were saying that when you're young, when you're still in college, it's a great opportunity for people to think around, to experiment, whether it's technology or it could be something else, because either they're subsidized by their parents or they have the time. And it's taken in my own journey like 10 years to really figure out and get something right, fail fast, fail forward, startup mentality. What would you say to that as a principle? Because I think you guys exemplify that concept. What are the challenges young people face? How can the community in blockchain, the blockchain community, sort of increase the numbers of these people, the pipeline, and move forward these great ideas that you're talking about?
I think that when it comes to like leveraging the blockchain community to aid students in finding their voices and finding what their mission is in the community, it's like a twofold approach, in my opinion. So there's the technology side of it itself. So like nothing really gets done concretely without technology. So without somebody like sitting down in front of a computer and curating something or formalizing something in their head and writing it down in a project management sense and articulating that to somebody who can develop it. So that whole pipeline of skills is crucial to understand, and it's crucial to figure out like at what point in that ecosystem you want to involve yourself, whether it's development or whether it is project management, because both of those two things go hand in hand. The other side of it is the idea, and it is the connecting the dots. And that part is crucial because you have to connect the dots to really like come up with the solution, because you have to see a problem and then you have to think ahead of what exists and kind of create something. So when it comes to those two different components, I think that students need to kind of focus on both of them. So we need to focus on learning the skills, like the hard skills, like blockchain development, project management. But at the same time, we can't lose sight of like the soft skills that will help us connect the dots, such as like researching, looking at history, looking at the world in a Pan-African sense, and looking at the struggles that we're going through holistically. Because in my opinion, the magic happens when you combine both of those two components. If you just have the technology side and you can build anything, the problem is you don't know what to build, and you're just gonna keep on building things that don't really matter to your community in terms of solving a problem. And then if you can connect the dots really, really well, but you're not connected to the talent that can build it, then it's still gonna be a problem. So when it comes to college, I think college is a great time to kind of figure out both of those things, because you have time to kind of have those conversations that can help you see where you will want to build a solution and whatever you're passionate in as well. And then the other side of it is you have the time to develop those hard technical skills or come in contact with people who have them. So when the time is right, you can make something amazing happen, in my opinion.
And I truly believe that a university, in its purest sense, is an incubator, for talent. So I believe that all it takes is for the right partners, the right VCs to enter into a university to really handpick the talent based upon what they see as their dreams, because a lot of students have dreams, right? A lot of international students, from my perspective, they come here with these grand dreams that they want to achieve X, Y, and Z. And as the years go on, and this is from interviewing them, as the years go on, they slowly eat away at their dreams because they continue to ask, from their peers, from their professors, how do I achieve this? But in many cases, the advice that they get does not suit who they are and where they want to go. So they tend to bounce around with their friends and try to circulate ideas that sometimes don't become fruitful because their friends may not be the ideal mentors for them. So, in a sense, I believe that the right people, the right elders, the right mentors need to match up with these students and kind of help them achieve their goal based upon both their background and their long-term goals which in a tactical sense would look like, you know, if you are from Nigeria and you meet a young student who's a mechanical engineer from Nigeria, you want to match up with him. If you ever experienced what mechanical engineering looks like, and if you have experienced the goals that they have set out for themselves. And so I believe that would be the perfect match, and that, you know, you'll be able to give them real perspective as opposed to, you know, someone that is in a research position trying to, you know, advise someone that wants to be an entrepreneur.
All right. So I think we can take a question from the audience. We'll go to America first, then Isaiah, then Hassan at the back. America first. Ladies first.
Get tired
Ladies
of
first.
that.
Ladies first.
That's her name.
It's
That's
okay.
her name.
No, that's not really what people say to me in the morning. So my question is, you know, this is the first time I've seen Ashton Clark, and I guess last time was 2 years ago at
Yeah.
MIT Media Lab,
Good
a
to see you.
program for underrepresented students, and we took the class together. It was really
right.
intense, 9 and 9, and learning
Right.
from the leading researchers in the blockchain space, and kept in touch over a Slack group.
Yeah.
I wonder, how was the experience of creating a blockchain lab at this university? Could you explain a little bit more about that?
Indeed. It happened really organically, and it really started with friendship at the core and a passion for Pan-Africa. That's literally how it started, right? Me, Johan, and Johannes, we would just link up sometimes and talk. And we're very driven individuals. Like, you know, we've always been driven, either in an entrepreneurial sense or just in a research sense. We're very passionate about our communities. So, like, sometimes we would just, like, one of the first times we all met up, me and him were sitting in the library where we hang out a lot, and Johannes worked at the library at the time, and we were just sitting down talking about, using, like, growing hemp and all the different things that you could do with it. And this had nothing to do with blockchain. We're just like, yeah, you know, we could go get some land somewhere, start growing hemp, and, like, we can make toilet paper out of it, paint, clothes, and we're like, yo, we could do a lot with that. We were just running with that and just seeing, you know, how far we could take that idea. And then another time, we went to a coffee shop with another group of people, and we had this debate because we're entrepreneurs, right? And as an entrepreneur, you know, you have to, if you're not making money, then you're doing something wrong. And we were debating about, you know, you can still make money and still want to do good for your community. And we were defending that position against some people. But that debate kind of even unified us closer together. And then I'd say that, at least the way that I tell the story is, in the fall of last year, we came back. Johan was working on blockchain stuff, getting engineers together. And then Johannes had started this group chat with people about, like, cryptocurrency, because everything was about trading cryptocurrencies. And I was talking to different people, and I'd seen, like, different clubs getting started. Peace, brother, good to see you. And I hit them both up. I gave them a call. I was like, yo, we should do this. We should start a blockchain lab at Howard. I called Johannes, and they were like, bet. And then we just brought it together. We had our first event on campus, and it was a perfect time because everybody wanted to learn about cryptocurrency. Everybody on campus, from no matter what major you were, from engineering, econ, business, fine arts, communications, everybody wanted to learn about cryptocurrency. And then we had a Bitcoin 101 meet up on campus, and we had about, like, 50, 60 students come out, and everybody was there to learn. There's no games, no gimmicks, just 100%. And then from there, we've continued to progress, and we've moved into teaching blockchain. We taught a Solidity course here. We had a member who joined us early. He's on our e-board now. His name is Gerald Nash. He's a freshman, but he's been doing blockchain development for about 4 or 5 years. And he taught our Solidity workshop. right up the street, and we're just continuing to progress, continuing to grow.
Yeah. I guess my perspective on that, just to add on, you know, as we continue to grow, we're expanding the things that we teach. You know, we're interested in teaching, you know, blockchain product development, of course. We're interested in, you know, expanding the courses and the programs. And we're even having an event partnered with Coinbase on Thursday. It's a crypto 101 sort of event. It's going to be at Howard University. And if you guys want to come out, just a shameless plug. Yeah.
When is it again?
It's a Thursday. Yeah. You guys can follow us on Twitter and just keep track of what we're up to.
All right. The next question was Isaiah. Chris.
Hey fellas, I love the work you've been doing, been following you for a while. Just wanted to ask, what do you think it would take to get a Bitcoin focused class at Howard? Like, kind of like Princeton, Stanford, MIT, they have it. It'd be great to be the first HBCU. What do you think it would take?
To take a stab at that question, it would take support from the school, and not so much the faculty, but like the administration. It would take support from administration. In a nutshell, that's the answer to that question. And you see schools that have had early adoption of these classes. It's because they had the time, the resources to kind of make it work, and it was like a priority for them. And I would say that it would just take a lot of support from administration. It's definitely possible. We obviously have the talent in our community right here, and people that, you know, could be excellent teachers. And also I'd say it's something that's being worked on. And I think that there is a class. Is there a class being taught at Morgan? Was that solidified?
I can't confirm.
Okay, I can't confirm. Okay, he teaches right there. Yeah, so there's a class at Morgan. They're HBCU with a blockchain class that students can take for credit. And I hope that Howard, you know, follows as close as possible. But yeah.
All right. Hassan at the back.
It's good to see you too.
Definitely pleased to see my colleagues and the Howard students represent. I was getting real nervous yesterday when I didn't see any young faces. Sorry, I mean, I know that they're real young faces, and sorry to all y'all that are old like me, but this is really about them. It's really about these cats who are coming out now, who are actually boots on the ground, hands in the mix, either buying and trading, right, or actually developing the code, right? And so that's where my question is from. I want to address that first thing. It only takes Todd Shern or one of these professors to just start a class, you know, and just do it. It doesn't take a whole lot, I think, just to do it. But besides that, what would you, I mean, now that you've socialized the whole blockchain, Bitcoin thing for over a year now, from a quantity perspective of capable traders who are not losing a lot of money, and capable developers from a numbers perspective, can you give us an idea of people who have, you know, skill set to be able to develop and skill set to not lose your, you know, all of your money?
Well, I think that everybody's losing money right now. But yeah, not all their money. Yeah. So when we first set out, like setting goals is really important, right? When we first set out, our goal is to bring blockchain and cryptocurrency into the consciousness, into the mind of students, right? So that if they decided that they wanted to go deeper into it, we could provide them an avenue for that. So in terms of cryptocurrency and the trading, we didn't track numbers in terms of like how people's portfolios were doing, or in terms of like their profit and loss. we were just more so focused on like providing a holistic, like educational resource for them. So whatever questions they had, they could kind of come to us. So I can't answer that question specifically. Now on the development side, when we taught the Solidity 101 course, so we taught it for the first time, and I'd say we had about 10 people that completed it from start to finish. And the course was assuming that you had no prior knowledge in coding at all. So we didn't say, okay, you already know how to code, now come learn how to do Solidity. We said, if you don't know anything about coding, we're gonna take you from there and then bring you into this world, you know, and set you on like level 1 so that you can continue to go. So, of course, like, it takes a lot of like other work, you know, it takes a lot of other progression and whatnot, and we're gearing up to teach our second class. So what we hope to see is that students and people from the community continue to come back and continue to turn the wheel so that they can, you know, build something of their own. And at that point, that's when you start building things of your own, that's when you're ready to either like go out and start contracting, consulting, or, you know, you have your own projects at that point.
Right.
So hopefully we have some numbers soon that we can share.
All right, I think we are out of time, so I'll just take both of your closing thoughts that you'd like to add. Yeah. We can start with Joe.
Okay. So, in closing, you know, I just want to make sure that everyone, you know, truly understands that, you know, what we're doing here, I think it's huge, it's immense, you know, bringing black people together to focus on, you know, an industry. And the conversations that you might have, you know, try to hold on to them, try to hold on to the connections that you've made, try to, you know, reach out to as many people as you can that, you know, you have like interests with. And if you guys are interested in, you know, working with students, please feel free to reach out. You know, we're 100% open to connecting and to partnering and moving forward. So I would say to, you know, I would encourage you to be proactive and to work together with us and with each other.
Indeed. I echo that 100%. I say just to encourage everybody to keep on keeping on in whatever lane they are in this technology, and use it to leverage, to create tools and processes that can help, you know, our people. And I say try and get it in the hands of young people as much as possible. And it doesn't mean that they have to be coding, you know, at 4 or 5 years old. If they want to do that, that's great. But also you could just putting it on their mind and letting them know that it exists, it goes a long way. Because the reason why a lot of kids want to be firefighters is because they see people in fire trucks when they're at a young age. So it's like, I want to do that because that's cool. But at a young age, if they see and they know somebody, yeah, I'm a developer, or yeah, she does blockchain, he does blockchain, they're going to ask, you know, what is blockchain? And a lot of times that question is enough. And sometimes it can start you on a lifelong journey. So it's been a pleasure. Like Johan said, please feel free to stay in touch with us. Our website is Howard University Blockchain Lab. Actually, it's hublockchainlab.com. And what time is our event on Thursday? It's 7 at...
It's from 6 to 8.
6 to 8. What room is it? Do you know?
SOB 200.
So School of Business.
School of Business. School
Yeah.
of Business. Yeah.
Sorry, we have our own
Second floor.
acronyms. Yeah. School of Business,
Yeah.
2nd floor, room 200, 6 to 8.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, Asante Sana, can we give them a round of applause?